I'm knowing on social media as a Urwa Godfather. I'm a full-time bug hunter, security researcher, and pentester. On the bug crowd platform for bug bounty, I'm on the top 50, and for the B1 warrior, it's like the report for critical and high bugs. I'm in the top 5. More than 500 critical and high report I have been submitted. More than 1,500 report I submitted on other platforms such as Meta, Google, Microsoft, all of this stuff. I'm the winner of the Hacker Cup for 2022-2023, the Ethical Hacker of the Year for 2024 in B-Sides Ahmedabad. I'm a speaker in B-Sides in Ahmedabad, in Jordan. I have more than 10 zero-day CVEs I discovered in the last 4 years. My experience in cybersecurity and bug bounty, it's just about 5 years. And my original work, it's a cooker. I'm a chef. The agenda that we will have today, it's going to be very helpful for bypassing the 403, finding origin IPs, WAF evasion, zero-day recon technique, access for unique endpoints and the credentials, and vhost testing, and going to be a source graph dorking, and some tips and tricks. After this talk today, what we can find from this talk, directly for report as a bug hunter or pentester, we can find directly a BII information disclosure endpoint, such as GPG, PDF files, maybe be sensitive like in banks and something like that. As well, information disclosure endpoints such as voucher codes, gift shopping cards, emails, passwords, maybe clear text, maybe base64 encoded, authentication bypass via tokens, API keys, reset passwords link, and backup files such as ISO, exe, zip files, star, GS, DLL, and unauthorized access endpoints. That's directly. And in the same time, assistly for us in testing, for getting unique open ports, unique file extension such as PHP, ASPX, ASMX, all of this stuff, and login panel endpoints, registration panels, unique directories, and after that we can start fuzzing for that. Section that we will have today, Virus Total and Shodan, and zero-day recon, and source graph for dorking and tips. So now let's start with Virus Total and Shodan. So Shodan, it's the search engine for internet, a linked device. Why it's amazing for me, it's find origin IPs, discover misconfiguration servers, maps internal panel, real-time IPs, find vhosts. It's, for me, it's the Google of IP. About Virus Total, it's like I call it the bug bounty oil. I will explain later why. It's very helpful for me to find expose origin IPs, vhosts, and cover 403 bypasses for URLs, real-time IPs, endpoints. So let's start with Shodan. I gather like the top dorks that help for testing on Shodan. So let's start explaining each of dork. First one, it's using like when you're targeting a company name and you want to extract everything for that company, not a specific domain. You can find domains, you can find the IPs for that company, and as an example here we have like Facebook, INC. Now, ssl.ser.subject.cm, when we target a specific domain, like I want everything under domain.com, like orwa.domain.com, all of this stuff, it's fine, subdomains and IPs. And here we have an example. HTTP title, page title, it finds like all the IPs that include the same title in the browser. And here we have example, fiv icon hash. When we look for fiv icon hash, it's help us to get like all IPs for a specific software.
Good.
And the status when we dorking on Shodan, 200, 301, 302, for when we looking for a specific HTTP state response. And in the same time, we can look for a specific header. All of that I'm going to explain now in a picture for real scenarios. When you're looking for CIDR, a product name, we can use it as well. As an example, we have IIS.
Thank you.
And dash,
So I can
use it to remove a specific results from search. Like if I write like Facebook INC and found like a lot of duplicate result, I want to remove it, I can use dash and like HTTP title, I remove this title. Let's show some examples. Here the example for looking for a specific domain. The dork, it was corp.amazon.com, and here we have a results. Here we have the IPs, ports, and the response we have here. Here when we look for the HTTP title, like I want to look for title page, here's an example for web transfer clients. We can see all the IPs and the company who uses it. It's very helpful for zero-day testing or recon. Fiv icon hash, we can discover the fiv icon from pressing here and then using the door with adding the fiv icon hash.
Anna? Allah. No. I'm not sure. Which one is it?
Here, when we're looking for a specific header, it's also very helpful for zero-day testing.
This? No? Yeah. So, that's her.
Here, when we look for CIDR, it's a CIDR for PayPal, it's already public. So here, an example for the result. Here, when we look for the product, like a product IIS, it shows us all IPs running with IIS product. Here, the door for targeting a full company name, and we can find like here there is some interesting domains, not just facebook.com, there is more than that domain. And here an example when we use dash dork to remove the duplicate, we can see here we have a lot of these results. Now we want to remove it from the dork. We remove it as you can see in the title, and now we have 36 IP. We can do more than that. We can keep filtering. As well, when we look for a specific IP, we can like visiting IP from, as an example, if we visit IP like this, inside it shows us all the connected vhosts. So in a lot of cases, some of this vhosts is not accessible directly. But when you connect this host or subdomain with the IP, you can get the access for the app. And it's very good and helpful for testing. Here's some other example vhosts for IP. It's for AT&T, but you can see there is more than domains, not just one domain, and some other domains, subdomains, and more information. We have the ASN, we have more stuff for getting a good recon. And here are other example as well in Facebook for the IP, the domains and subdomains. And sometimes Shodan can help us with a specific vulnerabilities can be vulnerable on this IP based on the technologies and the versions running there. Now let's come for the virus total. And as I said, I call it bug bounty oil for me. Now, most of people know about VirusTotal, like it's a popular online service that analyzes files or URLs for potential viruses or malware or other threats. So VirusTotal inspects the items with over than 70 antivirus scanners and URL domain blocking service. But That's a lot of people don't know that's most or all of apps that use Scanet on VirusTotal, it's directly get archived. So website endpoints, internal endpoints, IPs, files, credentials sometimes, tokens, everything get archived on VirusTotal. And that's how it's happening. It's via user submission or automated crawling or analyzing reports, direct scan. There is a lot of other stuff. So here, the usual method how people using like VirusTotal, they directly like search for IP or domain or can upload a file such as exe file or DLL file or can directly search for hash. But as a hacker, look for the API report. And in this talk, I will share how to look for a specific domain or a specific subdomain or a specific IP and what we can get from that. So here, as a start, we have the domain. When we look for the domain, we have to use this. Now we have to create account and generate an API key for us and replace it with this. And then we can use this endpoint with the specific domain or a specific subdomain. And here the example, API key, this subdomains.att.com. Now this is going to help us to find subdomains and IPs, including origin IPs, endpoints, including internal ones, and hashes file. The other link here we have, it's for looking for specific IP. So we found IP on Shodan or in any place. We want to look for that IP, what it have, subdomains or domains or vhosts, endpoints, all of this stuff. We can use it like this with the same API key. So it's helped to find subdomains, domains, and vhost and endpoint. And the last thing, it's looking for hash file. We can get some hash file from looking here, so we can search for that hash file. In that time, hash file, it shows us like the file name or endpoints. We can directly then test it on the app. So here are examples like looking for these subdomains. What we have in this, just the same URL. We have as a start these subdomains. And mostly it's going to be unique subdomains. You can get it by automation tools for subdomain. Next thing, we have like the hashes files. We can use it, as I said. We have like, as you can see, some endpoints. Mostly, we can get endpoints. It's not available on other web archive services, such as you can see, admin-login. So it's very helpful to bypass 403. If it's nothing shown in the app, you can use it to get more info, more endpoints about the app. Here's some other example for looking for IP. As you can see, we have like IP, we have a domain, this subdomain, this different subdomain, and this one, and we have like a very interesting endpoints such as this. Now, anyone working in bug bounty or pen test and doing fuzzing, it's very hard to find like a specific endpoint like this in word list. And here an example for looking for the hash file. It shows us like we can see here. It's a JavaScript file, and it shows us like the endpoint. We can use it and try to access directly to the app. So when we do that on VirusTotal, how can be fast to locate what we are looking for? We can directly, I added here like the top keywords to search in VirusTotal. First of all, searching for backup files. So zip files, 7z, gz, tar, dll, exe, msi, iso. And then we look for authentication bypass, keywords, token equal, API key equal, reset password, registration, EYG, it's a short for GWT token. We can search for equal, it means something encoded. We can search for it's helpful to find like directly a credentials leaked, like employee@company.com and the password. env config get, it's very helpful for other testing. And we can look in the same time for the files extension, such as ASP, ASPX, SMX for ASP, PHP, PHP3, HTML, XML, all of this stuff. Here, just an example for a report just I submitted in the last year just from working on VirusTotal. That's not all, just like a quick shortcut about the bugs that I discovered. And here in the same time, I create a tool. So now a lot of people here asking how I'm going to do it like on subdomains or apps one by one. Here I created a tool. It's help you to gathering all endpoints for a list of subdomains. When you visit GitHub, you can see all the full installation. It's easy to use and it's very helpful. Now, a zero-day recon. So the zero-day, it's like a vulnerability in a software or hardware or a plugin or anything that's typically unknown for the vendor and for which no patch or other fix is available. It's called zero-day. So in this talk today, it's how to get zero-day. First of all, we have to find like a software. Now I'm going to talk about zero-day in softwares, all this stuff, not hardware or plugins. You have to find the software or installed app or a plugin or third party. You have to start recon about that software, installed app or third party. Then you have to find a bug in that software or third party. Then you have to test it in more than one app or two apps. And then you have a zero-day. Here I will show you example how to find third parties or installed apps, softwares via Dorking, and in the same time via icon recon. Here we have example for third party or softwares, like we have Okta third party, ServiceNow, Frog.io, OneLogin, Looker. Most of you know these services or third parties. And here's example how we can find it. It's like the company.thirdparty.com, or in some cases it's going to be like a subdomains, like as you can see here, github.att.com. So as we can start with Dorking on URL scan. URL scan, it's amazing as well to gathering endpoints, but it's more than amazing to gathering softwares or third parties. Here I'm explaining. So the star we have here, it's mean I want everything after dot. And dash, it's very similar to Shodan. It's to remove results I don't want to see. So here as example, like I try to look for bmw.star. It's mean everything after that. And I want to remove like bmw.com, I want to remove this one, I want to remove this domain, I want to remove this domain, and I want to remove this. And now I have this results. When we look here, we have here like an interesting domain, not this one. We have here like a this third party. Here we have other third party. Here we have other third party. Most of people not know about this third party. It's maybe not tested at all. It's the same thing, but now the star after dash, not after dot. Because after dash we can get like bmw dash blah 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 dot thirdparty.com or something like that, as you can see here for the examples. And here a dorking method in the same time. This dorking, it's for Hassan. He's talked before in BH Day. He's talked after me today. It's how to locate more by adding these dorks. It's get you, as you can see here, when I look for ATT, I got like some att.jobs. Or we have here att.gop.po. All of these results, it's like something unique and mostly not tested at all. Now, the most favorite thing for me when I look for 0 days or doing recon, normal recon or everything, I start looking for FIV icon. Now, what's the FIV icon? As you can see here, on the most modern browser, whenever you open the web page, a little small icon appears in the top on the left corner right before the title. Here, as you can see the example. Now, that's what I'm looking for. I'm trying like to get the hash for this icon and then looking for all the apps that having the same hash. Here like a quick tip to find the FIV icon hash for like when we looking for a company. So we visiting, this is Afufa engine, it's very similar to Shodan. So we visiting like, we try like, we add the domain just now, the first dork, it was just this one, att.com. Then it show us all of these results. Now if we look here, this is ATT logo. This is the ATT logo. This is, and this one. Now when we press on each of them, it show us the FIV icon hash for each of them. This one and this one and this one. Now what we do after that, we copy this hash, then we go to Shodan, and I already added the dork for FIV icon hash, and we start getting more apps, IIPs, and servers. Now, how to get FIV icon before, now how to locate the FIV icon before getting the FIV icon hash. Most like, as you can see here, like you can, now most of apps, when you visit like the main page and view the source, is directly you can search for .ico. It's mostly be fivicon.ico. Maybe something else, but mostly like that. As we can see here, there is an Acolyte template for that. There is like a quick checking via HTTPX. Now, here, like explaining the command BMW, it's a list of subdomains. I'm going to run it on HTTPX to see what is live from these subdomains. And then match that with this endpoint and see the results. Now, when I start visiting this one or this one or this one, it's show like a picture, a small, very small picture. What I'm going to do after that, I'm going to copy that link of the small picture icon and going for this domain, FIV icon hash. Then I add the endpoint here. It's give me these results. There's another way in the same time. I can like download the picture and then upload it here. And the result will come after that. It's going to be the FIV icon hash and the MD5. Now, how can we use the FIV icon hash and the MD5? We can use it on Shodan search. We can use it on VirusTotal. We can use it on, there's a lot of methods. As an example, here on Census, we use the MD5, not the FIV icon hash. This one. And the dork, this one. And here we add the hash. And here's, as you can see, an example, and here's the results. That matching with the same FIV icon. Here already I explain it. It's on Shodan for FIV icon hash. As you can see, we added here a hash, and it's give us all the servers, IPs, domains that using this software. And as you can see here, we have the domains. And in the same time, we can use it on Zoom AI. It's not familiar for a lot of people, but it's get very good results. And the dork, it's icon hash, and we can drop the hash here. And here, example, this is a hash for GitLab service. And as you can see, here's the results. So now, we know what's the software or the third party, what we can do after testing. So if the app is running with a strong WAF and no origin IP, we can start looking for the same software without a WAF or install it locally and test it. Like we're working like on PhD, there is strong WAF, then I take the FIV icon I match it with a similar apps, but without a WAF. And then I start testing, or I can download, if it's software, I can download it locally and test it. What else? We can collect all software endpoints on other domains, because if this domain use this favicon and this domain use favicon, it means same software, it means same endpoints. So if I didn't found endpoints for this software, I can look for other domains using the same software and test it on my target. We can, in the same time, look for software repo on GitHub or GitLab. Here's an example, like for 0 day, I found it me and Abdullah HackerX. He have a talk in 24 here. It's going to be about authentication bypass, and I'm sure it's going to be amazing talk. So what we did, we was testing a bug bounty program. In that time, we found a very it's unknown favicon hash. So we take that favicon and we extract the favicon hash. Then we looking for the software on the VirusTotal, on everything, and we start Googling about the software itself, and we found that we can download the software. We downloaded the full source of software, we installed it locally. It was ASB software. So directly after install it, we directly looked for the web config file. In the web config file, we found a machine key. So directly we took the machine key and we start looking for a view state deserialization using the machine key. And yes, we found the machine key, and then we tested that machine key on all the clients, and the results was amazing 0 day and RC remote code execution. And here an example for 2 clients of reports and the bounties in the same time. It was very easy, just by download the software, install it locally. Then match the machine key with all the clients, other clients. Now, source graph, it's a code and file search. So what is a source graph? It's like, for me, now it's like the top code search after GitHub, because now most of bug hunters or researchers was using GitHub for looking for leaks or exposed endpoints. But we can say about 1 year ago, GitHub made some updates. Now we can say the dorking, it's not easy like usual. So with looking more and more for resources, I found these resources, and it was amazing for looking for leaked credentials, sensitive data, everything. And here, like, when I try to compare the source graph with GitHub or other websites, this is the result that I got. I'm going to explain it now. And here we have the keywords and the queries, why it's used, and example for that. So here we have a lang. It's mean when we're looking for a specific language to filter the codes for languages. Like if I want to look for PHP, PYD, domains.com, then I want just the Python codes, language Python. A pretend type for regexp, as you can see here, example. We can look directly for the repo name, and here are example for repo, GitHub, PayPal. We can look directly for the file. It's limits searches for specific file. Like I want to look for AT&T.com and then including the passwords, and just search in files, it have .env. I can look as well for the content. It's a little bit helpful, but the most helpful for me, and or not. I'm going to explain it why. Now, and it's the search for the same keywords in the code. Here example, I want to look for att.com and password and admin. So I want to bring for me a result containing a password and containing an admin in the same time. Or, or here to search for more than 1 keywords in the codes. Like I want att.com and If you can find for me password or passwd or pwd, it will bring me a results for this or this or this in the same dork. Not it's like the dash we use it in Shodan. It's to remove the duplicates, the annoying results. And here example, I want to look for att password, not help.att, not test. So it's mean I want to remove anything containing help.att from results, and I want to remove anything containing test from the results. Now the top keywords to looking for sensitive data. Password, passwd, pwd, pw, access key for AWS credentials, secret key, the same thing. AKIA, ASIA, it's the starting of AWS access key. API equal API key, client secret, or a client underscore secret, authorization, pair EYG, secret token, secret underscore key, send underscore key. And here I added just the example how like I'm mixing the not and or in the dorking. So now here like I'm looking for a ServiceNow third parties. And in the same time, I want to look with the ServiceNow for passwd or password or pwd. I want this or this on this, including the ServiceNow. And I want to remove in the same time from the result example. I want to remove test. I want to remove server.serviceNow, and I want to look just for language Python. I can remove it for all languages. I can look for Bash for other language. Okay. Now some tips and tricks. There's another example when I explain it, Shodan, when you visit the IP, it show you like the host or vhost. Now, in some cases, like you can't see the hosts or vhosts on Shodan. But in Firefox browser, you can, like when you're visiting the IP, it's very, very normal. And all people saw that, but no one think to take it. It show you like a lot of subdomains. Directly copy all of these subdomains and match them with the IP. In a lot of cases, you can get access for apps, not the same app. Maybe this app, it's not this app, it's not this app. And in most cases, these apps can't be accessible without the IP. How to do that? When we visit the IP normally, and we can say for the last 6 months, most of bugs we found, it was like that. Now we look for IPs having this response, bad request, as an example. So as you can see, we have the IP and here, and the response is bad request. Then we generate all the subdomains for the company, and we start test that here in the host header, but on the same IP. Here we have an example like we know the response here is bad request, and most of people when saw like this IP, they will ignore it. So we grab the company all subdomains, and here's the number of subdomains and domains. As you can see, it's 34,000. So what we do, we keep the IP here just like this. Then we like hashtag the host header, and we remove from here, like we don't want to update the host header to match the target. We want to test here on the same IP the different subdomains. And here we remove the encode so we can get a clear results. And here, as you can see the example. Now, the normal response is 400, but from 34,000 subdomains, we got one have a state code 200, two have a state code 40101, and three have a 403. Now, these apps mostly not accessible without this IP. So when you visit this IP, it show 400. When you visit this subdomains, it show
100, 500, but mixing this with this, we got a live hit. We can use like for a quick automation command, it's using FFUF with like this command, fuzzing 1 and fuzzing 2, and then we can add the word list, the IPs. That's when we go on like a list of IPs with a huge list of subdomains. We want to run all of that together. We can mix that with this command. Word list for IP, word list for domains and subdomains. Then we mix that with this command, fuzz1 and fuzz2, and we match it with all response. We remove 400 response, we match it with 200 response, and we print the output as a HTML. Now, for like how in some cases this kind of vhost testing, now if we found like a IP and domain, but now this not dead domain, it's accessible domain, but it have a WAF. But the IP, it's not have a WAF. IP back with a 500 results, the domain back with a 200 result, but with a WAF. Here an example. Now, the normal domain, when I tested the login and I was testing a SQL injection, after 2 or 3 commands, I got too many requests. Then I went to VirusTotal. I looked for this domain. I found IP. This IP is accessible, but IP, it's not show anything. Then next step, I mix the IP with the same app. And I keep running the payloads here without any WAF. As you can see, this is a normal response. It's mean there is no WAF here. Now there's another method for Akami WAF evasion. Now how? Via loading a huge content. As you can see here, if we like try to add like a script, JavaScript for access us, directly the Akami WAF is blocked us. So you don't have permission to access, it's a Akami block. What we did here, like in Akami, it's if you load a huge content in the request, it's look for the first huge content and then forget what after that. But it's just working with post request or put request, not get request. You can load a very huge content like that, and then after that, adding the right parameter and the right like payload you want to exploit, and then send it, and as you can see, it's directly bypass Akami. It's the same request here and here. What I add, I added a huge content, and it's Orwa equal XXX, and the same, till I bypass it. This is a good and helpful one. It's like a word list generator. When you work on a specific app or specific company, we can use this barb extension. It's called barb word list generator. And in the same time, if we extract the endpoints from VirusTotal, from Web Archive, web apps, now we want to create a word list from that endpoint. We can use for TomTom and FURL. It helps us to create a word list for a specific company to get unique endpoints. All the time with the header, and it's helpful with me. All the time, try to add to the request X forward for header and referrer header. And in the same time, try to inject that with SQL payloads and blind access as payloads. Now, when we do fuzzing using FFUF, now, most of people, they're doing this step, running a word list and the target and fuzzing. Now, to get more amazing results, you can directly start mixing the word list and starting with the app name. So, like as you can see, we have a subdomain called Orwa, and the domain is app.com. First thing, like we can try to fuzz. We can add Orwa, then fuzz. Maybe we can get Orwa administration, Orwa login. We can like copy now the domain name and fuzz that in the same time. So we can get like app login, app administration, or something like that. If it have a different name, we can use like a underscore then fuzzing. It's help us to find a hidden files. We can add dot fuzz, and there is like a lot of some methods. Now, if the target is running with a PHP, directly we should add for this command this following extension, PHP, and this very helpful for bypass some of files, P capital, H small, P capital, PHP, or PHP3 or zip file looking for backup file, TXT file, 7Z, all of this stuff. If the target running with Java, there is a lot of extension, but most of them GSP, GSF, CGI, XML, XHTML, and zip for backup file, and 7Z. If the target running with the ASB, we should add this extension ASB, ASBX, ASMX, SHX, and looking for backup files such as DLL, EXE, zip file, and 7Z and XML. And here, like, if someone here starting like fresh in bug bounty or pen testing, it's this mind map. It's amazing. It's keeping updated all the time, so you can use it like a checklist. You come back for that. It's very helpful as well. And here I am done. Hope you enjoy it with this talk. Hope you like it. And if someone here have a question, yes. Thank you.